Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Tobago. I'm Davia Chambers. Today we're at Villa Pelicano, a modern-style villa in the seaside village of Blackrock. Stay with us as we explore all this charming property has to offer. As usual, it's been an eventful week, and in the next half hour, we'll bring you up to date on all the major stories happening right here in Tobago. As we officially kick off 2020, we'll get started with this week's headlines. Tobago East continues its transformation. This time, the Roxborough Police Station is officially opened. Staying in the East, tenants, including some key public services, get their keys to the new Roxborough Administrative Complex. There are positive signs for the island's preservation ambitions as stakeholders sign on to the Tobago Environmental Partnership Declaration. And later, as part of our ongoing Eat Local series, Sweet Potato is in the spotlight. We have all these stories and more when Let's Talk Tobago returns. Stay with us. Villa Pelicano stands guard over one of Tobago's most scenic stretches of coastline, sitting just between Grafton Beach and Turtle Beach. It's the perfect getaway spot for when you want to hide away from it all. And in our first story, for most people, finding an affordable home is a big challenge. So the provision of housing lots at Corland is an important development for many Tobago families. The details are in this story. A home is a comfortable space for families to live, laugh, and enjoy memorable moments. And several Tobagonians are one step closer to the dream of owning a home. The Division of Settlements, Urban Renewal, and Public Utilities distributed its first set of lots at Corland Park Development, marking phase 1 of the delivery process.
This phase will yield approximately 116 lots. The development of this project was separated into 2 phases. The first phase saw the development of service lots, and the second phase, the construction of the sewer treatment plant. The sewer treatment plant is a state-of-the-art in its operation. It is to date one of the largest facilities in Tobago, and in future, the plant will serve all 4 phases in the Corland Park development, as well as surrounding facilities in Blackrock.
The new landowners now have the opportunity to increase Tobago's housing stock. A key feature of the Corland Development Park is the installation of underground utility infrastructure.
And for those of you who are one step closer to owning, as it were, a piece of land, then you ought to understand that you are in fact one step closer to earning wealth. If one owns a piece of land and by extension a house, then in a real sense, if one is a landlord, then one can earn rental income. Even if you're not a landlord, but you own a house, implicitly you're earning an income because you don't pay rent to anyone.
One critical mission of the Department of Settlements is to provide affordable housing for Tobagonians.
Today's distribution exercise is a reaffirmation of our commitment that we will continue to work assiduously in our efforts to meet the mandate and to achieve the goals envisaged by our Secretary. This is the outcome of tireless efforts by a number of persons today.
116 service lots have been prepared in phase 1 at the Corland Development Park. Villa Pelicano is owned by Mr. Robert Bartella. The location inspired the villa's construction, but its name was clearly derived from the flocks of pelicans fishing just beyond the coastline. It's really a sight to see. Now, Roxborough in the East is also a scenic community, and it is the latest local community to have its own police station. This will ensure closer ties between police and the neighboring communities and better response times. Here's more.
Roxborough is the latest community in Trinidad and Tobago to have its own police station. This will ensure the people of East Tobago can be better served by the police. The project was completed thanks to collaboration among central government, the Eco Industrial Development Company of Tobago, EID Cut, and the Tobago House of Assembly. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says safety for the people is his biggest priority.
And the state is investing in these facilities to respond to the requirement for that safety and security. This particular station has the responsibility for ensuring that this part of the country is secured, so that the streets and the coastline in particular of Eastern Tobago should become under constant observation night and day by the officers who would be comfortably housed here in Roxborough.
And Chief Secretary Kelvin Charles is describing the Roxborough Police Station as more than just a building. He's thanking central government for delivering on its promise.
Whilst we strive towards sustainable development for Tobago, and in particular East Tobago, our security on this side of the island should not be taken lightly. Any advancements we achieve would be inconsequential without our ability to protect our citizens, especially the most vulnerable among us.
Stuart Young, Minister of National Security, says it will take cooperation to make sure that Tobago remains a safe place.
This year we took delivery of 200 patrol bikes. Those would be able to provide another element of response, but also patrol, an easier patrol, especially on this side of the island and the terrain that we face. The government is committed, Chief Secretary and to the Assemblymen and women, we are committed to work along with the Tobago House of Assembly in the fight against crime and in making sure that Tobago stays as pristine as it is, and to really ensure that the scourge of crime doesn't take roots in Tobago.
The new police station is just one example of the development taking place in East Tobago. Also in the village of Roxborough are the recently built administrative complex, the Roxborough Hospital, for which construction should be completed in the final quarter of 2020, and the fire station, also under construction. It's all geared towards enhancing the quality of life for people on the eastern end of Tobago. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
The open layout here at Villa Pelicano provides an easy flow from room to room. It features 4 ensuite bedrooms, all leading to spacious verandas and spectacular views of the beach and the Caribbean Sea. We head back to the east now, and the new Roxborough Administrative Complex, which was commissioned in 2019. Residents will soon be closer to key public services as the tenants of the complex now have their keys. Here's this report. Residents of Tobago East will soon have easier access to critical government services. The Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, the Business Development Unit, the Licensing Division, the Division of Tourism, Culture and Transportation, Public Health, the Board of Inland Revenue, Elections and Boundaries Commission are just some of the offices being housed at the Roxborough Administrative Complex. The new tenants recently received their keys to the facility.
As a project, the administrative complex represents the development of Windward Tobago. One, as I said, which will increase the ease of doing business for residents of this community and environs. And I'm particularly excited for what this complex will mean for those among us with limited mobility. I say to you that we must refuse to allow any challenge that we are likely to face from here on in to become the title of any new chapter. Today's activity, and this building, and the services that will be offered therein reflects a chapter of transformation.
According to Chief Administrator Bernadette Solomon Karoma, the Roxborough Administrative Complex is more than just new infrastructure.
The fact that we are here today is a sign of progress. Today we hand over keys to office spaces as well as to opportunity. For the Tobago House of Assembly, this Roxborough Administrative Complex is an investment in people.
She's urging all tenants to be mindful of the services offered to the public.
Provide services, but deliver service. Seek not to be task-oriented, but to look at the bigger picture of Tobago's advancement.
And the complex is also a plus to those who will benefit the most, residents of Tobago East.
It's going to be great. Really, really great. We need an uplift in Roxborough to be as the second tongue. Let we say everything you're going in tongue, no. We have a second tongue and we want it to be the best. It's the greatest move you guys ever make.
I feel very great because I have to go tongue every time I had to pay light bill and water rate and revenues and things like this. Is a lot of problems sometimes when you go in tongue to get through rain falling, hurricanes and things. So right in Roxborough here, I could just come down the road and walk and I could get fixed.
So we have to take a break, but when we return, residents get a better idea of what the finished Roxborough Hospital will look like. This story is coming up next. Stay with us. Welcome back. You are watching Let's Talk Tobago, coming to you from Villa Pelicano. The tower of this property is a deliberate design, a reminder of the sugar plantation mills, which played a unique part in the island's storied history. Now, the residents of Roxborough and environs are being kept in the loop as a new hospital is constructed in their community. They recently had an opportunity to see what the finished facility is going to look like. More in this story.
Construction of the Roxborough Hospital continues apace. And with its progress, the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development and the Tobago Regional Health Authority are keeping residents up to date on the hospital works. During the most recent stakeholder meeting, residents learned that preparations are being made to procure equipment for the facility. This will allow the finished building to be commissioned without delays.
The work has been done by professional groups to ensure that we identify those equipment that are necessary and that those that will be made available when the hospital is to the point of loading. So that much work has been going on as the building is being built to ensure that we do not have a facility that's standing there and not equipped.
The 22-bed hospital will feature primary care services and dialysis services, as well as an ambulance service. The hyperbaric unit will be relocated to the new facility. A helipad and a healing garden are also a part of the hospital's design. Residents got the chance to express their concerns and ask questions. One issue raised was the possibility of flooding occurring at the site.
One of my main concern was the controlling of the river from the top. It's not just around the runoff, around the hospital, from the top of the river.
From an engineering point of view, you would cater for a flood that will be happening in 1 in 50 years, 1 in 100 years. So all of these factors have been taken into consideration for the design to ensure that we don't have any adversities when it comes to water and flooding, etc.
With the future in mind, another resident asked about the potential for expanding the hospital as the population increases.
As I understand, according to the statistic report, there is a 2.1% growth in the east part of Tobago. Is your survey on the hospital done as for expansion based on the growth rate in East Tobago?
The third floor, I think.
It's second floor,
right,
yeah.
Right, good. We've taken that into consideration. So the design has or will cater for another floor. So you'll see how it is designed when this is done. Well, I don't know if you could have seen it there, but that has already been taken into account.
Udicott is the project manager for the construction of Roxborough's secondary healthcare facility. The hospital is expected to be completed by October of this year. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
No luxury was spared in building Villa Pelicano. On the outside, the private pool and jacuzzi is surrounded by a well-manicured garden. You can take a swim in the pool or lounge while you soak up the sun. Now, Tobago continues to take steps to protect its natural environment for the present and future generations. The inaugural Tobago Environmental Partnership Conference in 2019 was one such initiative, but efforts did not stop there. Umadara Mills explains.
The signing of the Tobago Environmental Partnership Declaration is a signal that the island is taking action to protect its natural assets.
The Tobago House of Assembly, the Environmental Research Institute of Charlottesville, ERIC, and Environment Tobago all signed on to the recent declaration. The declaration states the integrity, health, and aesthetic beauty of Tobago's forests, rivers, wetlands, reefs, islets, and open ocean are the foundations for sustainable development, well-being, and economic wealth of our island and people. We, Tobago's environmental partnership stakeholders, will strive to manage our natural heritage for the benefit of current and future generations through meaningful collaboration, empowered participation, and the shared responsibilities of government, businesses, and civil society organizations. The signing is one of the activities coming out of the inaugural Tobago Environmental Partnership Conference held in May 2019.
Today's signing ceremony is about a distinct recognition that the government cannot do it alone. It is impossible for the Tobago House of Assembly, the central government of Trinidad and Tobago, or anyone for that matter, to tackle the challenges of climate change, rising sea levels, and the list goes on alone. And I'm very pleased that we are taking the necessary steps.
The German embassy was one of the sponsors of the inaugural conference. German Ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago, Her Excellency Ute Koenig, attended the signing. She praised Tobago for its environmentally conscious initiatives.
With the future of tourism in mind, you're doing well in looking after the environment, because the natural assets of Tobago are an invaluable asset also in attracting tourism, and tourism is also a way of raising the standard of living, of creating more jobs for the local population and for creating wealth and adding to the well-being of everybody.
Another offshoot of the environmental conference is a tree planting project. Volunteers and THA representatives planted trees during the 2019 rainy season along the east and northeast coasts. The southwest coast at Lambo is also earmarked for this exercise. 2,500 trees like sea almond, coconut, and sea grape are expected to be planted by 2020.
And I'm happy that moving forward, there's a commitment that we will work together. Collaboration is key, and I look forward to this collaboration continuing to be a fruit, whether it's fruit from these sea grapes or sea almond trees that we've planted, or fruit in terms of projects that benefit our communities, such as the ones in Castara and so on.
Following the signing, other environmental stakeholders were invited to show their support via the Environmental Partnership banner. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
This villa creates the atmosphere for maximum relaxation. But if you want to get out and about and really explore Tobago, then Villa Pelicano is a wonderful starting point. Now this, entrepreneurship is an essential source of employment for many Tobagonians, and some businesses from the windward side of the island got some much needed exposure at a novel event. We have some highlights in this story.
Over the past few years, greater focus has been placed on supporting Tobago's entrepreneurs. It's a trend continued by JS Consulting Agency, which facilitated the first Business Expo and pop-up shop at Roxborough Recreation Ground. It was a day for local entrepreneurs in East Tobago to showcase their products and services, to increase their brand awareness, and to attract new customers. JS Consulting CEO Justin Stewart says he's delighted to be a part of this event.
So I saw the need for entrepreneurs, especially in the East, to showcase their creativity and their talents, just as entrepreneurs to showcase that they have business acumen, and just give them an opportunity to engage with the public, to have the public familiarize themselves with the businesses.
The Business Expo and pop-up shop featured 20 entrepreneurs with businesses ranging from local homemade delicacies to architectural design.
It could be a living room, a bedroom, a bathroom, could be an outdoor space and all. So we basically come in and give you an idea of what you can transform from nothing to something.
We started off as a hobby, where we'd make stuff to eat, and going to work or school, persons would ask us about it and ask us why not sell our products. So recently we decided to register the business and decided to do logos and that kind of stuff. So far it's going good.
Men also got special attention at the Business Expo through the presence of menswear store, ties and knots. Akil Andrews says he was inspired to start this business due to his own clothing needs.
I operate in a corporate environment, so I'm required to wear shirt and ties each day for work. So I decided to capitalize on the idea. Of course, I am a lover of sneakers as well. So when you're wearing fresh sneakers, you need a fresh socks to match.
This event seems to be just the beginning for JS Consulting, which is looking at other ventures that will help support Eastern communities. I'm Kern De Freitas for Let's Talk Tobago.
Coming up next, we'll show you just how much talent Tobago's secondary schools possess. It's coming up next, right after this break. Stay with us. Many personal photos and inspiring art line the walls of this villa. It certainly lends an ambience of life, color, and tranquility at Villa Pelicano. And you know, speaking of art, for the past 8 years, the Chief Secretary's Tobago Secondary School Art Competition has been an outlet for the island's young artists to showcase their talent. At the end of 2019, the youngsters impressed once more. Have a look.
For the past 8 years, the Chief Secretary's Tobago Secondary School Art Competition has been an outlet for the island's young artists to showcase their talent. And in addition to earning cash prizes for the artists, the top 12 pieces are immortalized on the annual Chief Secretary's calendar. The competition is open to students ages 11 to 18 years. In December, 47 entries from 6 different schools were up for judging. Chief Secretary Kelvin Charles says the competition has provided a platform for Tobago's talent. He says young artists can indulge in their creativity and also enhance their holistic development.
It is a platform that we continue to diligently protect because of its tremendous consequential value. Not just as an avenue for limitless creativity among our young persons, but also as a stage which introduces many of you and many of your artistic talents and abilities to a wider audience. It is our collective duty, however, to be your avid supporters and to truly empower you in the hope that you will transform this island through the power of your creativity and your innovation.
The young students are also being encouraged to pursue art as more than just a hobby.
Art can be utilized to promote our history, our culture, our tourism. However, I believe it is underutilized and it is underrated. I don't know if it's because we don't see it as being financially viable. Even in the schools, it's not promoted as much as a career option.
Speaking of success, Akeem Chance made the most of his opportunity, painting his way to victory on behalf of Speyside High School.
Amazing, Ella. Real amazing. I didn't know I win, but feel relieved.
Speyside Secondary School dominated the lineup of finalists, which also featured artists from Bishop's High School. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
And in our final story, the delectable and healthy local foods are getting all the attention in Tobago these days. This time around, an island favorite, sweet potato, took center stage. The crop had a literal field day as patrons learned about its varieties and enjoyed a memorable culinary experience. We captured the highlights of the day, and Omodara Mills shares with you what's so special about the star of the day. Here's more.
There's a reason sweet potato is an island favorite. It's the versatility of this delectable and nutritious root crop. and a sweet potato field exhibition at the Louis D'Or demonstration station gave many the chance to sample and to purchase sweet potato products, including chips and various drinks. Sandra Daniel, who owns Libby's Delicacies, shared some of her novel sweet potato treats.
Today I would have done cookies, fudges, rum fudge, we call them adult fudges. I did some cheesecake. All the items that I'm telling you about are made from sweet potato. I did my special, which is a potato vegan cheese.
Sweet potato is a star staple in Tobago. The Division of Food Production, Forestry and Fisheries wants to reduce the reliance on importing the crop. So, the division used the one-day event to showcase the selection of sweet potato grown here and encourage farmers and locals to increase their production.
In the division, we want to push this crop. We import a lot from Trinidad, from St. Vincent via Trinidad, and we want our farmers to grow our sweet potato here. And the sweet potato weevil is now a very devastating pest which has taken over Trinidad. So we are encouraging our farmers to grow here in Tobago.
One way of growing more is ensuring that the planting material is readily available to farmers. Ms. Titus says those plans are already being made.
Well, what we are going to do, we started with a small quantity, so now we are going to multiply that we can share with farmers. We're going to multiply here on Louis D'Or demonstration station and on Lure so that we can share with farmers.
Over the years, the division has highlighted other local crops, such as cassava, dasheen, and mango. In 2020, the division will continue its Eat Local campaign to spread awareness about the importance of homegrown, unprocessed foods. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
And it's now time to have your say with Marlon Gotsleben. It's the segment of our program where we hear from you, our viewers. We'll now have a look at who had their say this week.
No one to ask question. What do you question?
It was A. Why are you spelling things?
That's a quick question. That's not hold on. I'm waiting for the money for the question now.
My reason for supporting Interdepartment every year is for the excitement, the togetherness with the different division, supporting each other, the flag waving, the enjoyment of Carnival, the festivals with each other together. It comes like we own thing.
I love it. Interdepartment is a fun event. You know, you look forward to all the creativity that's going to come out every year from a division. So it's really a really nice event, and it's fun to, you know, mingle with your co-workers and stuff like that. And why are you running, Gail?
Oh gosh, I just love the aura of Queen shows, and to be very honest, I'm just pushy, you know? So this is my thing.
My reason for supporting Interdepartment every year, and all of the same every year, is because I believe in the camaraderie, in the vibes, the energy that each division brings.
I usually support it because I love the vibes and the action that they bring every year.
I like people, and I like Bacchanal, and Carnival is a nice time, and I support my division and support the people.
So I love the friendly rivalry, and it's a way to showcase your division's ability and uniqueness.
I like the camaraderie and the bantering. You know, it gives a nice spirit and it sends off a nice energy.
I'm looking forward to this year. It's looking like it'll be a real competition, and good luck to all of them.
You need a reason to support Interdepartment. I mean, it's Pekong, it's Bacchanal, it's all kind of thing, it's vibes. It's Interdepartment is where you could get everybody to just come in one place and just have a great time. It's Interdepartment 2020. Police going a window. It was A.
Why are you spelling things? That's a quick question. That's not hold on. I'm waiting.
We've come to the end of yet another edition of Let's Talk Tobago, and as always, we thank you for watching. Please email us with your comments or queries about the program, and be sure to visit our website, like our Office of the Chief Secretary Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. For more information on Villa Pelicano, you can contact 378-4408 or visit their website at www.tobagovillasrus.com. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and very productive week. We leave you with a montage of additional shots of Villa Pelicano.